In this video, you'll learn how to safeguard your organization with Microsoft Defender for Office 365. You'll see how Defender for Office 365 can help you define protection policies, analyze threats to your organization, and respond to attacks. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 is a cloud-based email filtering service that helps protect your organization against unknown malware and viruses by providing robust zero-day protection and safeguards against harmful links. Defender has rich reporting and URL trace capabilities that give insight into the kind of attacks happening in your organization. You can access Defender features from the Office 365 Security and Compliance Center. To get started, select Threat Management to expand the section. Next, select Policy. With Defender for Office 365, you can define several types of policies for your organization that determine the behavior and protection level for predefined threats. Let's define a Safe Links policy. Safe links help prevent your users from following links in emails and documents that go to websites recognized as malicious. Let's open the default policy that applies to the entire organization. Here you can see a list of custom blocked URLs. Notice that Safe Links is enabled for Office 365 applications. This setting applies to all content except email. Let's leave the settings as is and return to the Safe Links page. Scroll down to the next policy. You can also configure Safe Links policies that apply to specific groups of users. Let's create a new policy that scans for malicious links in email. First, enter a name for the policy. Next, specify if the policy will take action on unknown or potentially malicious URLs in messages. In this case, we'll enable the policy to rewrite URLs and check them against a list of known malicious links when users click on them. Next, select the checkbox to apply real-time URL scanning for suspicious links and links that point to files. Let's configure this policy to wait for URL scanning to complete before delivering the message. Next, let's apply Safe Links to email messages sent within the organization. Scroll down to continue configuring the policy settings. You can specify URLs that are not to be rewritten for this policy. In this case, we won't specify any URLs. Next, let's create a rule to specify the users that this policy applies to. You can apply the policy to the recipient's domain, email address, or group. We'll apply this policy to a group. Select All Employees. Next, add the group and then select OK. Next, save the policy. The policy saves successfully. Let's return to the policy page to create another type of policy. Let's create an anti-phishing policy. You can configure anti-phishing policies to better protect users from malicious impersonation-based phishing attacks and other sophisticated phishing attacks. To create a new policy, select Create. This wizard will guide you through creating a new anti-phishing policy. First, name your policy. Select Next to continue. Here, you'll define the recipients or domains in your organization that this anti-phishing policy will apply to or exclude. Let's add a condition to apply this policy to a specific group. First, select the recipient is a member of. Next, select the group of users. We'll apply this policy to all employees. Select Next to continue. Review the policy settings and then create the policy. The policy has been created successfully. Now let's open the policy we just created. Here, you can edit the policy to refine the settings. Let's edit the impersonation settings. You can configure this policy to prevent impersonation of key roles, such as senior leaders who periodically send emails to everyone in the company. To add users to protect, first set the toggle switch to On. Next, select Add User. Next, enter the user's email address. Notice that the user's name is automatically populated. Next, select Save. This policy will now protect this user from being impersonated. Next, add domains to protect. First, turn on the setting to automatically include domains your company owns. You can also configure this policy to protect custom domains. In this case, this company works a lot with Contoso. To protect Contoso's domain from impersonation, turn on the setting to include custom domains. Next, specify the domain name. The policy will now protect these domains. Next, select Actions. You can specify the actions that this policy will apply if an attacker tries to impersonate protected users or domains. Let's configure this policy to quarantine the message if an email is sent by an impersonated user. Let's also configure this policy to quarantine the message if an email is sent by an impersonated domain. Next, let's configure the Mailbox Intelligence settings. Mailbox Intelligence analyzes your cloud-based users' mail flow patterns to determine which contacts they communicate with most often. This helps to identify when an email message might be from an attacker who is impersonating one of those contacts. This feature is already enabled, so we'll leave the setting as is. You can also enable Mailbox Intelligence-based impersonation protection for the policy to customize user impersonation detection and better handle false positives. Let's enable this feature. Next, specify the action this policy will apply if an attacker impersonates a user protected by Mailbox Intelligence. We'll select Move Message to Recipient's Junk Email folders. Next, select Add Trusted Senders and Domains. Here, you can add trusted senders and domains to prevent their messages from being classified as an impersonation-based attack. In this case, we'll leave these settings as is. Next, select Review Your Settings. Review your impersonation settings and then select Save. Now let's edit some other settings for this policy. Scroll down to see more settings. You can configure spoof settings for this policy. Spoofing is when the sender address in an email message doesn't match the domain of the email source. In this case, we'll leave the spoof settings as is. Let's edit the advanced settings for this policy. Here you can control how aggressively Office 365 handles messages that might be phishing attacks. Note that being more aggressive may increase the amount of false positives. Let's configure this policy to be more aggressive. Save the settings. Now that we've edited the settings for this policy, let's close the window and return to the policy page. Next, let's look at anti-spam policies. You can configure various anti-spam policies to control how messages are handled by Office 365 anti-spam. In this case, the default was set up to minimize impact to existing customers, but we want to create a more aggressive policy. To get started, select Create a Policy. Here, you'll fill out the policy details. First, provide a name for the policy. Next, expand the Spam and Bulk Action section. Scroll down to continue configuring the settings. Next, select your threshold for bulk email. Note that 1 marks more as spam, and 9 allows more to be delivered. This organization has less tolerance for bulk mail, so we'll lower the default level to 5. Next, specify the action the policy will apply to high-confidence phishing emails. In this case, we'll leave the action as Quarantine Message. Scroll down the page to continue configuring the policy settings. In the Allow List section, you can configure the policy to allow specific senders or domains. Allowing senders and domains should be minimized, however, because it provides an opportunity for attackers to bypass phishing protection. In this case, we won't allow any senders or domains to be bypassed. Next, expand the Applied To section. Here, you can specify the users, groups, or domains for which this policy applies by creating recipient-based rules. Let's add a condition. We'll apply this policy to members of a specific group. We'll enter a tag to apply this policy to all of the company's employees. Next, scroll down and save your changes. The anti-spam policy is now created. Now that we've seen how to create different types of policies, let's look at how to monitor threats. First, collapse the Threat Management section. Next, expand the Reports section. Next, scroll down the pane and then select Dashboard. This dashboard contains reports and insights to help you focus on high-priority issues, such as security attacks or increased suspicious activity. Scroll down to see more of this page. Let's open the Threat Protection Status Streaming report. The Threat Protection Status report is a single view that brings together information about malicious content found and blocked by Defender for Office 365. The graph is showing data for all malicious email and content. To narrow the focus of the report, select the View Data By drop-down arrow. Let's view data for email with malware. You can see which detection technologies picked up threats. You can filter the data in the graph. You can filter the data by date and detection. We'll clear all of the detection checkboxes except the one for safe attachments. Next, apply the filter. Now the graph only displays data for emails containing safe attachments. Let's change the report to view data by email phishing. Next, let's filter the graph. We'll filter for detected data with a malicious URL reputation. Apply the filter. To view the details of the data shown in the chart, select View Details table. This table shows all the suspected phishing emails, including their date, subject, sender, and more. Let's select the first email in the list. Here, you can see even more details about this email. Now let's close the Details pane and navigate to the View Alerts page. The View Alerts page shows a list of alerts generated when users perform activities that match the conditions of an alert policy. Let's open an alert to view its details. This type of alert is triggered when a user either clicks a link that is subsequently detected as malicious by the Safe Links feature, or when the user overrides the Safe Links block page to navigate to a malicious site. Let's view messages for this alert in Explorer. Threat Explorer is a Defender for Office 365 Plan 2 feature that helps security operations teams investigate and respond to threats. It provides near real-time threat hunting, remediation, and response workflows for all emails received or sent within or outside your organization. This chart shows that the email that triggered the alert was delivered. Scroll down to see more of this page. Let's change the chart view to see which detection technologies were triggered by the email. The link was categorized using detonation URL reputation. Scroll down to investigate further. Next, select URL clicks. This graph shows that the URL was clicked twice. Next, let's check the URLs tab to see if there were any other URLs in this email. Here, you can see that the email contained only the one URL. Next, return to the Email tab. To view more details about this email, select the email subject. In the Details pane, the Summary tab shows information about the recipient and sender. Next, select Email Timeline. This tab shows a list of events related to the email. You can see that the email was delivered, the user clicked the malicious URL, and then Zero-Hour Auto Purge, or ZAP, was applied to retroactively detect and neutralize the malicious message. Next, select Details. Here, you can see additional details, such as the detection technologies used and the URLs in the message. To investigate the URL further, select the link. A new instance of Explorer opens in a new tab. Let's see how many emails contain this URL domain. Select the drop-down arrow to change the filter. Next, select URL domain. Next, enter the domain. As you can see, the count of emails did not change. Next, remove the URL domain filter. Scroll down to see a list of all the emails containing the URL. Let's open the first email in the list to view its details. Scroll down to see more of this page. Next, select View Headers. Here, you can review the email's message header. You can also copy and paste it into the Message Header Analyzer tool to review and analyze detailed transport information about the message. In this case, we'll close the window to return to the email details. Here, you can download the original email message. To download the message, acknowledge that you understand the risks. Next, select Download. To view the email in Outlook 365, select Open File. Here, you can read the malicious email message. Now let's close out and return to Explorer to take action. Let's report the email as a phishing attack. First, select the email. Next, select the Actions drop-down arrow. Scroll down the list of actions. Next, select Report Phishing. Acknowledge the notification that your submission has completed. Now let's navigate to the Submissions page. Here, admins can submit messages to Microsoft for analysis. Scroll down to see your submission. Here, you can see how the submission appears. Let's return to the Explorer page. Next, let's change the view to see all emails containing the malicious URL domain. Scroll down the page to the list of emails. Let's take action on the first email in the list. Scroll down the list of actions. We'll select Add to Remediation. This wizard will guide you through creating a new remediation investigation for this email. First, specify if you want to create a new remediation or add to an existing one. In this case, we'll create a new remediation. Select Next to continue. Next, name the remediation. Select Next to continue. Next, indicate the severity level of the threat. We'll choose Medium. Review the scope of the remediation and then select Create. A window opens for the remediation we created. The mail submission at the bottom of the screen confirms the remediation item is received and in the queue. Now let's navigate to the Action Center to see the pending remediation. This is where submitted remediations show up for investigation and action. Let's open the remediation we just created. Select the mail submission. Here, you can see the malicious email and take action on it. Select Actions to reveal the list of options. In this case, we won't take action on the email. Now, let's navigate to the View Alerts page. Open the alert we viewed earlier. Scroll down the pane. Select View Investigation to see the automated investigation triggered for this alert. Scroll down the page to review the investigation graph. The graph shows the triggering alert, emails investigated, users investigated, threats found, and actions taken. Scroll to the top of the page to continue reviewing this investigation. Next, select Alerts. Here, you can see more information about the alert triggering event. Next, select Email. Here, you can see a list of the investigated emails. Next, select Users. Here, you can see a list of the investigated users. Next, select Actions. Here, you can see a list of pending remediation actions. To approve all of the pending actions, select the Action checkbox at the top of the list. Next, select Approve. In the Approve Actions pane, enter any comments about the investigation. Next, select Confirm to approve the remediation actions. Now let's navigate back to the View Alerts page. Let's look at another type of alert. The alert called Suspicious Email Sending Patterns Detected is triggered when a user is detected sending spam or phishing email. Scroll down to review the alert details. Let's view the investigation for this alert. Scroll down to review the investigation graph. As you can see, 4 threats were found. Next, scroll to the top of the page to continue reviewing the details of this investigation. First, view the alerts related to this investigation. Next, review the investigated emails. To view more details about an email, select its name. Scroll down to see more information. We can see that this malicious email was delivered 50 times. Select Done to return to the investigation page. Next, review the investigated users. Next, take a look at the investigated entities. To view more information about an entity, select the entity value. For instance, here you can see more information about this malicious URL. Finally, let's close the window and look at the actions taken for this investigation. Here you can see the actions pending approval and how long they've been pending. You've just learned how Defender for Office 365 can help you define protection policies, analyze threats to your organization, and respond to attacks. Thanks for watching.